Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and in this video I'm going to give you my December 2021 movie recommendations. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365. Okay, in this video, I will be giving you my December 2021 movie recommendations. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know when I talk about movies on 4K, Ultra HD, or Blu Ray, I usually just go over the tech specs, picture, audio, that sort of thing. I really don't talk too much about the movies. There's a little blurb at the beginning just to give you my initial feelings about it, but for the most part, I just focus on tech specs. So a lot of you have wondered, what I would like to watch just in my off time, and when not reviewing stuff, there are plenty of things I watch per month, and just stuff that I would think that you would enjoy and I want to pass along to you. So we're going to go over everything that I've been watching in December 2021. And the first one is pretty much, it's a comedy. Now, they just did a series over on Peacock TV. It just debuted a couple days ago. And I thought I would go back and revisit the movie. And of course, this, came directly from the famous SNL sketches. And that is MacGruber, starring Will Forte. What can I say? Of course, this is a spoof off of MacGyver. And I think Will Forte's character is fantastic. I really enjoy this one. It's got Kristen Wiig and a good cast behind it, and I think a lot of them ported over to the Peacock show. So I'm going to be checking that out really soon. But if you haven't seen MacGruber, and if you're at all curious about the show, definitely watch this one. It's a lot of fun, and if you really want to go into some deep dive, check out the SNL sketches. They are hilarious. The one with Shaq is just funny. Like, it's extremely funny. So yeah, MacGruber, watch that one when you can. So just recently, I watched The Red Shoes on 4K for the Criterion Collection. And when I was watching it this time, I've seen the movie before, but when I was rewatching it now, it kind of made me think of this film. And if you don't know The Red Shoes, the premise is an overbearing ballet director has a protege who wants like full commitment, and there were touches and elements in this film I'm about to show you that I would not be surprised if there were some direct influences when they were making this film. And that is J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. Really kind of like almost the same premise in a way, but just with, a more of a musical instrument inclination. But J.K. Simmons just, wow, like he is fantastic at this. He's brutal. He's just really intense. And the movie itself is just fantastic. I was happy they put this one on 4K, but yeah, this one is something that's really one of those movies that you don't want to go in kind of a bad mood or anything. You want to be just completely ready to watch this one, take it all in, and it's I wouldn't say it's a fun movie, but it's really good. So yeah, when I was watching The Red Shoes, let me know in the comments if you kind of get the same correlation that I'm thinking of. But yeah, Whiplash, check that one out. This one I feel is, we all have our favorite directors, and one of mine is Ridley Scott. And of course, just recently watched and reviewed The Last Duel here on the channel. And I wanted to kind of pick a Ridley Scott film that not a lot of people talk about, or even have known or see. And I think it deserves a lot more attention. And that is White Squall. It's based off of true events. It's about a nautical teacher taking his class out on a nautical kind of classroom environment, and they encounter something called a white squall. And the cast of characters, Jeff Bridges as the captain, is so good, and the effects, the special effects used in this are really awesome. I would love to get this upgraded to a 4K edition with a great Atmos setup, but the movie itself, I feel, is really one of his more underrated movies, and it's a good, it's got some great cinematography. Once again, the characters, Jeff Bridges, when he's not playing the dude in pretty much everything since The Big Lebowski, he's cool in this. He's really cool, and even though it is based off of real events, you're still kind of surprised at the outcome. But yeah, I would, if you are a fan of the director and you've never heard of White Squall, watch this one. I don't think you'll regret it, and if you've seen it, let me know in the comments what you thought. And going back to Ridley Scott in The Last Duel, of course, if you're familiar with the movie, you know it has a kind of a Rashomon vibe to it, or kind of a story structure. So I just wanted to touch on really quickly the original Rashomon, directed by Akira Kurosawa. You know, we all have, there's all these films that set the benchmark for a lot of movies going forward. And the whole Rashomon thing, which is almost kind of like a subgenre, you know, almost started here. I'm not sure if this was the first movie to utilize that technique, but it's one that is referenced the most. And it's really, it's just a story based off of different perspectives where you see little differences, you know, between the point of view. And it just adds a whole lot of dynamic to the characters and story involved. You know, do you trust this one? Do you trust who's saying this one over here? And the setting also really is fantastic. And I just recently rewatched Jet Li and Hero, and of course that also implements the Rashomon style. So yeah, the original Kurosawa flick, I would absolutely highly recommend you check out. This next movie is from director Mike Flanagan, and unfortunately there is no physical copy of this, so I'm going to recommend it if you're a Netflix account holder. I would recommend Hush. This movie, it's you know, it's very intense. If you're a fan of the director, you know, he did Dr. Sleep for the, you know, for the theatrical run, and he does a lot over on Netflix, like recently Midnight Mass, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, you know, The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor, really great shows. But I would highly recommend you check out Hush, which is currently now on Netflix. It's a small, intense thriller. It's really, you know, short on time. It's only like an hour and a half at the most. And it's got such a, like a condensed cast. It's really good. It's an intense thriller. And, you know, it takes, you know, takes a whole, like, kind of, I would say, thriller genre and gives it kind of a cool spin. So essentially it's about a woman who is mute and deaf, and she's kind of living in isolation in the woods, and her nearest neighbor is a good friend of hers that, you know, comes visiting, and there's just this guy that shows up, and he kind of stalks her. You know, at first he's doing things, he learns that she's, you know, deaf and can't hear him, and he's kind of doing a cat and mouse with her, and it's really good. I think the performances are great, and I love how they handle the bad guy. They don't give like a huge backstory to him. It's more or less left to kind of like, you know, just your imagination to like his history. But I would recommend this one highly, and hopefully one day we'll get a physical copy, so check out Hush. This one is from Wes Anderson, and you know, if you're a fan of Wes Anderson, you've probably seen this one already. But also, you know, next to Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's his next animated film he did after that. That is Isle of Dogs. I like this one. Of course, me being a dog person, I really appreciate it. And it's also one I remember watching in the theater and just really enjoying it. It has those typical Wes Anderson, you know, tropes and, you know, DNA to it. But it's really just fun. It's got an awesome voice cast, really great. A lot of Wes Anderson regulars lend their voices to this. And it's a fun movie. It is. And it has such a good story. I really enjoy it. I like going back to it. So yeah, Isle of Dogs, check this one out. Of course, another remake coming out, actually just came out as of this recording, is Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley. So I recommend you watch the original, which is available on the Criterion Collection. You know, it's a movie that I don't want to spoil too much, but it's about a guy that works at a carnival, and he kind of learns a trick from one of the carnies there that it's kind of like using a mentalist approach to, you know, kind of getting like, you know, just over on the crowd, but then he tries to take that to, you know, mainstream and become rich off that, and he's always climbing higher and higher, and along the way there's, you know, pride before the fall type thing. But this one has such a good story. I can't wait to compare it to the Guillermo del Toro's version, which I'm anxious to see really soon. But also really good cinematography on it, well filmed, and I would highly recommend Nightmare Alley. Check that one out on the Criterion Collection. This, of course, being Christmas, I thought I would throw in a few Christmas type of movies that I watched this month. This one came out, I think, late last year. Yeah, it was December of 2020. Mel Gibson and Fat Man. I just recently rewatched this one. This one's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It takes that whole Santa Claus thing and gives it, you know, somewhat of an ultra-violent makeover. And Walton Goggins is in this one, plays a hitman for, so his character is going to try to kill Santa Claus because he's hired by this bratty, you know, semi-rich kid. And that kid is so, oh, you just want to like slap him, but like he's such a good character. This one's fun. It is fun. You know, it's a good take on Christmas and, you know, that sort of thing. But recommend Fat Man. Mel Gibson's great as Kris Kringle. Check this one out. And of course, I just recently reviewed this one for the channel, and a lot of people were looking forward to it, and that is Krampus. You know, this one is great. This is the Ultra Naughty Cut, which was released on 4K. It's not a whole lot of difference. There's just a couple, you know, curse words and that sort of thing, but the story is great. It really starts out kind of like a Christmas, like you would see in a Hallmark movie, and then it kind of goes into a dark fairy tale type setting. But I like this one. I like the effects on it. I think the whole story is really good. Kind of gives you a little bit of ambiguity on the ending, but, you know, we all have our theories on it. And I really also dig Adam Scott as the father and Toni Collette as the mother. They're great in this. And it's got a good cast. They all kind of, the entire family involved. I like to think of this as a dark Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's, in my opinion, that's kind of where it starts, and you know, it has some DNA from that. But yeah, Krampus, check that one out. And finally, this month on my movie recommendations is a classic Christmas film. And this one doesn't get a whole lot of love nowadays, but, you know, those my age and maybe a little younger and older will definitely appreciate it. That is Gremlins on 4K. Yeah, this one holds up extremely well. It's so moody and atmospheric. It's funny. It's got some horror thriller to it, and it's a Christmas movie. It is. It's so much, it's almost kind of like a staple. I don't watch this every Christmas, but pretty much almost every other Christmas is a guarantee. And of course, watching it again, you know, I love it. It's great holiday fun. They don't make movies like this anymore, and it's so good. It is so good. And yeah, Gremlins, please check this one out. If you haven't seen it, definitely do yourself a favor and watch it. So those are my movie recommendations for December 2021. Now let me know in the comments section below, what are you watching this month and what would you recommend to me that might show up in a future video, and I can let you know what I think. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.